All right, let's dive into the core of what makes a democracy tick. We're going to use this short manifesto as our roadmap. The ideas here, they're simple, but believe me, they are incredibly powerful. It all starts with this. Democracy, Zindabad. It's a powerful phrase, right? It means long live democracy. But it makes you think, what actually helps a democracy not just survive, but truly thrive? So let's talk about the source of all power, because it really does all begin with us. Where does the power in a democracy really come from? Well, it all boils down to one single foundational truth. It begins right here, with us, with a simple but profound declaration that we, the people, are the source of all power. And look, that's not just some nice-sounding poetic idea. It is the absolute core operating principle. It means government isn't something that's done to us. It's something we, all of us, authorize. Okay, so if we're the source of all that power, how do we actually organize it? How do you channel all of that for the common good? Well, that's where the system comes in. See, we create these things called institutions. And it's super important to remember they're not there to rule over us. Nope, they're there to organize our power and to serve the common good. The flow is critical. It goes from us, the public, through these institutions, and then to the authority whose job it is to serve. And when we talk about institutions, we're talking about things you'd recognize, right? The judiciary, the government, public services. You can really think of them as the pillars holding the whole thing up, giving it stability and structure. Now, inside those institutions, we grant authority. But what even is authority, really? This is key. It's a responsibility. It is not ownership. It exists to get a job done, to fulfill a duty, not to dominate. Okay, so we've got the source of power, us. We've got the system. So how is this whole thing supposed to function day to day? Well, for it to work, it has to run on clear principles, not just the whims of powerful people. Things like the rule of law and due process. It also needs to be independent and impartial. And maybe most importantly, there has to be accountability back to us. That's what guarantees fairness, not just one person's will or the pressure of a crowd. So what's the payoff for all this structure? Why do we do it? It's simple, really. It's to make sure that our resources, our taxes, come back to us as real, tangible services. We're talking about justice, healthcare, education, food, and shelter. This is the system actually delivering on its promise to the people. But you have to ask, what protects all of this? What stops the whole thing from just falling apart under pressure? That's where this idea of an independent firewall comes in. This firewall, it's built on one single, absolutely critical principle. It's the thing that's meant to protect the system from two major threats, the ego of the people at the top and the pressure of the crowd from below. And that principle is independence. Think about it like this. Independent institutions, like a court system, are basically the guardrails on a highway. Their job isn't to speed the most powerful car along. Their job is to restrain power, to keep everyone on the road and playing by the same rules. Okay, so all of these pieces, they all lead to what is maybe the most important idea of all, this sacred balance that holds the entire democratic system together. And this balance really is everything. You've got the public, we provide the legitimacy. Then you have the institutions, they provide the stability. And finally, authority is there to execute its responsibility. When it's working right, it's like a perfect loop, with each part supporting the others. But what happens when that loop breaks, when the balance is lost? It's so important to know how to spot the warning signs when the system starts to fail. And there are really two main ways it can go wrong. The first is what you might call system drift. This is a top-down problem. It's when someone in authority starts acting like they own the place, forgetting that they're just there to do a job. The other failure comes from the bottom up. Destabilization. That's when the crowd decides to bypass the system and, do the job of the judge themselves. Either way, the balance is broken. When you strip away all the complexity, all the noise, the central idea of democracy is actually incredibly simple. It really just comes down to this. First, keep the balance. Next, keep the system true. And always, always keep the people first. And that brings us right back to the very beginning. Democracy, Zindabad. Long live democracy.